What's up, YouTube? Today is November 24th, 2012. I am almost, I don't know, like 8.5 months on T. I guess I kind of stopped keeping track of the weeks, but I mean, I still have them written down if I need to ever find out, but I don't keep that number in my memory. So, I guess that means I've been on for long enough that is so, which I didn't think would happen. Not that I was going to go off T ever, but that I would stop keeping track of weeks. Um, anyway, that's happened. But yes, today I want to talk about something else related to testosterone, though. But this video is more for those who are pre-T and don't know really what to expect, or maybe are gonna start T soon, or anyway. So I have compiled a list of things that I wish I did pre-T, which I didn't do, that I'm looking back now and kind of kicking myself on. Alright, so the first thing that I wish I did pre-T would be to take comparison everythings, and I mean everything, like I did do some comparison stuff. I've been doing these videos, so, I get to track my voice. I get to track kind of what I look like, my hairstyles, muscles, all that fun stuff. But, I really wish I did more of it, Looking back, looking back, I really wanted to be able to compare who I was and then who I am now. But it seems like from what I have, I didn't take as much stuff as I wish that I had taken. So, that's a bunch of things. Pictures. I did not feel comfortable in front of a camera without a shirt on. Even if it was just my back, pre-T, I did not feel comfortable with that at all. And, that really played into, I did take comparison pictures, like full body pictures, I guess, pre-testosterone, but I was in a binder. And, I'm trying to compare my back muscles to what they were, and I can't see my back muscles on my pre-T pictures, because I was wearing a binder. Which, I mean, you get a good comparison as to what the binder looked like before and what it looks like now on, but I really wish that I had taken more thorough pictures, I guess. Another thing, comparison-wise, singing. I talk about singing a lot. I'm not a good singer, so I would never record myself singing. Or if I did get the balls and record myself singing, I would delete it right away because I thought I sounded terrible, so I would delete it. But, now I really wish I'd kept some of those crappy recordings because, I don't know. I would like to be able to compare, and, I don't really remember what I sounded like, so, yeah, definitely take everything you can, anything you are pre-T, do comparisons, like, I wanted to do even measurements, like, I know I did my measurements, when I started working out, and I used a shoestring, and I just marked it on the string, how big I was in certain places. And, I really like that, and I like going back and being like, wow, I've grown so much here. I remember, like, the first, like, month after working out, like, my shoulder mark had grown, like, this much, and I was ecstatic. It was fantastic. It was a great feeling. So, I definitely recommend, I bet it would be even a better feeling pre-T to on testosterone, and you see that, and I don't know. I feel like it would be nicer, but I know it's definitely a nice feeling to be able to see how much you've grown, I guess. So definitely take comparisons everywhere. Compare everything. Make sure you have your face directly pointed at the camera. Make sure you get your side view. Make sure you get everything. I wish I had all those comparisons to look back on, and I have some, and I'm really glad that I took the ones that I did, but, the more the merrier, I guess. Another thing that I think I've said before, wish I did pre-T, that'd be working out. I feel like I didn't pass a lot pre-T. I would pass sometimes, but I wouldn't pass a lot. and I feel like maybe if I had worked out then, I would have passed more because I would have gotten more muscle, or maybe the fact that I was going to the gym in the first place would have helped me pass, or I don't know. I just think working out in general, I'm kind of kicking myself for not starting that until I was like 3 months on T or 4 months on T or whatever I was on. But definitely, I would recommend working out and starting the workout before you are on T. I didn't do that. If you are already on T, I definitely recommend working out. It's great. It's a great antidepressant. The working out is the reward. It like activates like things in your brain, like chemicals, like you know, endorphins, like serotonin, dopamine, all that stuff. And it's the act of exercising that does that in itself because you feel good about yourself. So it's constantly motivating. Plus, you get significant muscle gains. Sorry, I love this. I don't have that much muscle per se when I compare it to a lot of people at the gym, but I have muscle that I didn't have before, so I'm not complaining. Definitely more comfortable. As I said before, I wasn't comfortable taking any kind of pictures topless. I mean, I think I did like one or two, but you couldn't see anything, and like, yes. But, now I'm in front of a camera topless. One day I'll be able to be in front of the camera completely topless, but until then, yes. What else? Names. Names. I started out using a certain name, which was Paz. I don't know if I said that on here. Which was my initials, and which was a really easy name for me to change to. And it was gender neutral. But the thing is, once I started university and I had trouble passing, I don't know, I was never a huge fan of the name. It was kind of girly. But, that's what I started as, and that's what a lot of people know me as. But I changed it yet again, to a different name, and that's kind of messing me up. So I wish I had just chosen the male name that I wanted at the beginning, and then I don't have to worry about all that stuff, even though it probably would have made it more difficult, for parents and everyone to get used to that because they're just getting used to Paz, and that's like it's so close to my birth name. Like, okay, it's not that close, but it's still like such. I don't think it's a huge change, but yes, that is definitely something that get your name. Make sure you know what your name is and you want your name to be that before you like make it public, or else you're gonna have to deal with a whirlwind of problems. So that I wish I had done. Also pre-T. More stuff, I guess. There's a lot of there's the physical stuff, there's the name stuff, that's transition stuff, but then there's the relating to other people stuff. One thing I know, I look back now and I wish I had definitely done pre-T was educate my family more. Like, I know at the time, I was afraid to educate my family, mostly because of the negative response I got when I originally came out. But I feel like if I had educated them more, then I would have really, I don't know, I feel like I would have gotten to the heart of the issue and not had to put up with as much drama as I did. Pre-T, I was extremely emotional whenever someone would bring up something trans-related that was me, and they would be picking on my biggest insecurity, so I would be in tears within seconds, and I didn't want to be in tears, obviously. Like, I wasn't trying to make it dramatic. It just would happen, and I would have no control over it. So, I mean, I understand why I did the things I did, but I really, I suggest to anyone else who's having family troubles, like, try to educate them. I know that's easier said than done. I know family is really tough, especially if they don't understand your views. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. It sucks, but I really wish that I could have done more. I know I could have done more, but I didn't. And I feel like I'm kicking myself now for not doing more, even though it's not my responsibility to educate them per se. They should be educating themselves, but, you know, they're not gonna do it. They didn't. Well, like, they did. That's a lie. They totally did. But, like, I feel like the emotional aspect, like how it really feels to be trans, what it means to, what trans means to me specifically, how that plays into my life. Like, I feel like I should have told them that. Um, I remember I used to keep a notebook. I keep many notebooks, as you can see, but I know my dad found one of my notebooks, and I didn't know he found it until he told me he found it. And he said he was reading it and reading my entries about how I felt trapped and how just, and he said he had never seen me in that light before, he said I had this unique way of writing exactly what I felt. And I can feel myself getting emotional now, because it's like, I don't know, it was a big thing, like, him saying, I didn't realize you felt this way, and now that I do, we can work on it. Or, like, now that I do, we can talk about it. And that to me it was really big. Yay, Dad. There was a lot of stuff in that notebook, though, probably that I don't think I wanted him to see. Yeah, but I'm kind of glad that he saw, the personal entries, and that he wasn't holding the stuff that I didn't want him to see against me, which was really good. But, just hearing that definitely helped me figure out. Anyway, there's another thing that I should mention. I have university. University, living in residence. I feel like I was robbed of my experience, per se. Not to say I didn't have a good time. I absolutely loved living in residence. It was great. I had a fantastic time, but I realized that I could have had a better time had I, worked on the core issues that I have. Like, anxiety, social anxiety is huge for me. Like, I have trouble with people. I have trouble talking to people. I have trouble even willing myself to talk to people. I remember there was one time I had to call something into a bank, and I tried, I think it was like 4 times to call the bank, and like, I remember the first 3 times it would say something like, we're going to transfer you to a representative, and I was like, fuck no, end call, and I completely aborted, because I did not want to talk to anyone. I don't like talking to people. I feel scared when I talk to people. Like, people have asked me, like, what do you mean you have trouble talking to girls? Like, what do you mean you have trouble talking to people? What do you mean you don't? Like, the butterflies that I get in the stomach, my heart starts pounding. Like, I start shaking. I start sweating. It's physiological. Like, I can't. I can't control that. Like, it's totally physiological. Like, but, I know that now because I'm confident enough in myself that I can realize that I have these problems and actually do something about them, whereas I couldn't pre-T. So I really wish I would have worked on that anxiety. Obviously, some of that anxiety has to come with, am I passing, am I not passing, dysphoria based on that day, like, what does my chest look like, what does the bulge of my pants look like, what does blah 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 look like, all that stuff is extremely important, but I feel like when I was in therapy, we would be talking about trans things, and I knew who I was. Like, I didn't need that therapist to be talking to me about those things. What I really needed was to talk about the core issues, which would be the anxiety, which would be the family. We talked about family problems, but, like, I was in therapy, and I should have been in therapy, but I was definitely not there for the right reasons. My family thought I needed to go because I was trans. Looking back now, I needed to go to therapy because I have all this anxiety. And yes. Another thing, as I'm like running out of time, passing. I wish I'd put more emphasis into passing. That goes with working out. That goes with pretty much anything. Mostly working out. But, there's a lot you can do. Even if you, like, I had a really feminine face. I still have a feminine face. I feel like maybe had I put more emphasis into passing, maybe if I'd dressed nicer, maybe if I had, been more persistent, maybe if I had, I don't know. I look back and I think, what if, but I feel like if I had put more emphasis on passing, I would have done better with the anxiety, better with myself, better with dysphoria, better with the family, because, obviously I dressed male, and I would buy my chest, and I look male, but I didn't pass, and I wish I put more emphasis into that. Alright, this video is going to be super long, and I have to cut it off right now, or else I'm going to not have time. But